everyone. Before I start my speech, I'd like to give my salute to all of you guys because you are running our economy. Because like last time I checked, like we had lots of unfavorable conditions in the country and we never got a breather. So, but still, you guys are, because of you guys, we have a economy running. I don't really see lots of people appreciate your effort and pushing through the hard time. So let me thank you again because you are the one who are running this economy as entrepreneurs. So here, what I'm going to talk about is the importance of cloud computing. So most of the time, when it comes to the businesses in Sri Lanka, we try to do lots of things on the ground, and we try to expand it. When we try to expand it, we try to do it physically, like a franchise or chain of stores and that kind of physical approach. That worked for a decade, but in this decade, we have to think beyond. When we are thinking beyond, we have to go to internet. And when we are going to internet, we have to look into few aspects. Why are we going to internet? Because Sri Lanka is a small country. Not a small population though, 21 million people. Not a small population. Australia is like 24 million something, but small population. Again, the purchasing power is also in the mid-scale. So if you really want to scale your business, you have to go beyond the borders. And the borders is not really relevant anymore in this planet because lots of things are connected through internet. So when you're going through this journey of expanding your business, like let's say, you are running a small store in a location, I'd like to call it a pond. And if you are expanding it to the entire country, it'll be like a lake. But we should do the business in the entire ocean. So we have to we have to expand our business in planet Earth. Like we should not use words like Sri Lanka or Colombo. We should always think in the scale of planet Earth. When we are going through this journey, the biggest problem is you have to set up a website, and at a certain point your website will be visited by tons of users. Then we have to sort out lots of technicalities. Back in the days, you had to do all of those stuff by yourself, but now that we have cloud infrastructure, the cloud infrastructure is like gained lots of traction in the last few years actually because of this AI boom and everything. Because of those development in cloud computing, now that you can access cloud computing for much cheaper price and access is easily, lots of functionalities are there. So my job is here to show you a few opportunities, the things that you can do with cloud computing. So the first thing, why should we go to cloud computing? So all of you understand that if you are running a business face to face, that's yesterday's business. Now the business is happening on internet. Like if you want to reach customers, you have to set up a website, you have to go to social media, and I believe that all the businesses are, you are running your business plus you are a media company. You have to create lots of content. You have to push those things in YouTube and TikTok and all the platforms, and that's how we talk to customers now. And let's say, I am purchasing lots of stuff from international companies. So how do they talk to me? They use social media. Then they have like very sophisticated supply chains to reach me and deliver the good to my doorstep. So we have to think in that level. So you have to think in that level in this decade, in the next few years. So to do that, you have to sort out a few things. You have to understand, you have to scale your business, and whatever the product that you're selling from Sri Lanka should be accessible from anywhere from this planet. So we had to go to internet, set up a website, and the importance of cloud infrastructure is you don't really have to worry about the servers and the server downtimes, the internet bandwidth, storage, memory, processing power. There are lots of technicalities. If you're using cloud infrastructure, you don't really have to worry about all of those things. You can set up a website, you are running your business, and the infrastructure provider is taking care of all of those technicalities, and most of the time you don't really have to worry about those things. You can focus on your business. That's the most important thing if you're using cloud infrastructure. And the cloud infrastructure, like let's say you get a server, you probably have tried most of those stuff. You get a server and you host a website there, then you are getting lots of traffic. and at a certain point, your server can't keep up. You increase the processing power, you increase the RAM, you increase the hard drive, and that kind of stuff. We call that the vertical expansion of the server. That's costly. After a certain point, it's getting even more costly. But if you're using cloud infrastructure, you don't really have to do it vertically, because cloud is a shared infrastructure. There are lots of computers. And by the way, when we are talking about cloud, lots of people think that it's like a cloud in the sky. By the way, it's not, guys. It's a bunch of computers. Maybe one day you should go and see, like it's tons of computers in a huge building, and the entire infrastructure is shared between all the users. So in case you need more processing power or more server capacity, it's available. It's already available. So all you have to do is request and get it. And in some cases, you can configure this cloud in a certain way that when you are getting more visitors to your website, it's automatically expanding. That kind of features are also there because the infrastructure is there already. You don't really have to worry about it. And eventually, you have to pay attention to the customer experience. I'm visiting your website and I want to buy, let's say, a fitness band. Then I click on the fitness band, I add it to cart, then I make the payment. And at any point, if I see some friction, lots of people will drop out from the entire customer journey. So, like the Amazon.com, they try to implement this one-click purchase system, because like I see something, I click on it, then that thing will be delivered to my doorstep. So that kind of stuff. You have to think in that scale. So how to reduce the number of clicks, how to increase the speed of all of those processes. So for that, you have to go with cloud infrastructure. Actually, Amazon.com built their own cloud. You don't really have to. You can actually access existing cloud and run your business on top of that. And the cloud computing infrastructure is maintained by experts. They have expertise in server infrastructure, network, connectivity, and that kind of stuff. And in the other hand, your business is running on the cloud infrastructure. You have expertise in business. You know your customers, you know your product, and you know how the customer base is reacting. So you are free to innovate in the business end. At the same time, the cloud infrastructure service provider is innovating from there, and they are increasing the efficiency of these computers. They are reducing the latency, and they are improving the speed of your website and all of those stuff. So innovation is happening in two different ends, because your service provider, the cloud service provider, is maintaining their infrastructure in the peak condition. You can run your business in the peak condition, and you can think about the next step. While you're thinking about the next step, your cloud service infrastructure provider is thinking about the next step of the cloud infrastructure itself. So you can focus on the right stuff if you are using cloud computing. And eventually, if you are running your own servers, I have run my own servers for my websites. So I have to pay attention to backups, and I have to schedule backups, and I have to make sure that those things are running properly. And sometimes, like when I'm running websites, intruders are coming, and sometimes my website is changed, it's not working. So if you are running your website on a cloud infrastructure, you don't really have to worry about most of those things, because the security and the disaster recovery, that means the backup and all of those things, are managed by the entire infrastructure service provider. So most of the popular services that you're using, like Netflix or maybe Dropbox, all of those things are running on cloud. So the biggest advantage is, if you want to be like Netflix or Dropbox or any kind of like big businesses, when you're going onto internet, like when you're starting your first e-commerce store, start with the cloud infrastructure. So then you're not limited by the capacity of your server. So if you want to expand it, the infrastructure is already available. And your solution is cloud ready. So you can expand it as you wish. So we are doing all of those stuff to reach more customers, sell more products, and make more profit, right? So that's the objective if you are running a business. So I strongly recommend all of you to read this book, The Millionaire Fast Lane. This book, actually, it's supposed to be a self-help book, but it reads like a textbook. So I strongly recommend all of you to get a copy of this book and read this thing, because this is giving you a very valuable tools to understand expandable business. And when you are running an ice cream store in your backyard, and some of your relatives are coming. Then you move it to the front yard, then all your neighbors are coming. But if you want to sell ice cream to the whole planet, how are you going to do it? So he's talking about how to do business in a pond, how to do business in a lake, and how to do business in ocean. So all of you guys, the entrepreneurs in Sri Lanka, so you guys push through lots of hard time. I'm pretty sure that you guys have the capacity to push these boundaries, push the boundaries of Sri Lankan borders and sell Sri Lankan products to the entire planet. In some cases, of course, we have a cost advantage, cost disadvantage actually, but we can solve all of those problems. Like, we should always think like, what I'm gonna do. So if the cost is higher, what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna cut it down. So this book is like a textbook. It reads like a textbook actually. You should read this one. And this one gonna give you lots of ideas to expand your business, getting the advantage of cloud and all of those modern technological marvels. So then the cloud storage, this is the most simplest form of cloud storage. I'm using cloud storage. I'm producing videos. So when I'm producing videos, I'm working with my team. So I shoot the video, then I get the footage from the camera, and I upload it to a cloud storage. Then my editor is getting it from the cloud storage, editing it. That's how we usually function, because we have this new concept called frogs, the fully remote organizations. So I'm running one, a small team though. You can do the same. Like, if you want to assemble a media team, you don't really have to ask them to come to your office, and you can run a frog, a section of a frog in your organization. You can use cloud storage to move files here and there. The biggest problem is I am moving tens of gigabytes of worth storage files through cloud storage. The cloud storage is pretty cheap. You can get Google Drive or maybe Dropbox for really cheaper price. You don't have to worry about. But the biggest problem is when I'm moving that big files through internet, I have to pay attention to the capacity or the data cap I have. So the problem is when I'm uploading a file to cloud storage, it goes to probably India or maybe Singapore, and my team member, also from Colombo, is getting data again from that international database. So maybe down the time, you'll get to know the SLT people, they came up with smart solution for that one. I'm actually using it. So you can use that kind of solution, so it locally hosted solutions when you are moving big files, when you are working with big teams, and that's pretty convenient. And probably during the panel discussion, ask questions about this thing. Then the next thing is cloud hosting. You have to have a website if you want to go e-commerce. Then you have a website, you need a web server, and web server is giving you lots of services to run your website. But if you host your website on a cloud, then the cloud infrastructure is providing tons of features. As I said before, it's already there. So if you want to do something, if you want to expand your server, it's already there. So all you have to do is configure it and maybe pay little extra money, and get more server capacity. So if you are planning to run an e-commerce store, let's say you have a product, interesting product, or maybe a service, and you want to sell it to the entire planet. As I said before, we should think in the scale of the planet Earth, not Sri Lanka. So then go with cloud storage, and when you're setting up a website, start with cloud. Then whenever you want to get extra capacity, extra storage, or extra processing power or anything, it's pretty much already there. By the way, it's not infinite technically, but for the users, like for us, it feels like infinite, so it's there. So that's the cloud hosting. Let's say you have the storage, you have hosting, now that you have a website, but building a website is pretty complicated job. Any of you guys try to build your own website by yourself? So you have to learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and maybe more complicated variation of those things. Then you need a little bit of programming language like PHP or whatever the programming language. Most of the people thinking that the designing a website is like drawing something on a canvas, but it's not. So you have to write code. But most of the cloud service providers provide these drag and drop. We call them the WYSIWYG editors. What you see is what you get editors. So you can drag and drop stuff and design websites. Then that website is there. You don't really have to worry about the underlying technologies. Most of the cloud service providers give you these website builders. We call them the WYSIWYG website builders or drag and drop website builders. Let's say you want to build an e-commerce store. You drag and drop all the components you need, and then you have a really nice landing page to sell your product. And the next thing, you want to integrate the payment. The payment is also provided by the cloud service provider. So all you have to focus on your business, just the business. What is your product? Who are your customers? How are you going to communicate with your customers? And everything else is taken care by the cloud itself, by the cloud service provider. So that's one advantage. Then the other thing, this is called SaaS. It's called software as a service. Just imagine your business is slowly growing. Now that you need accounting system, you need HR system. At a certain point, you want to integrate all of those things into enterprise resource planning software, ERP. So if you want to get an ERP, if you were to build your own ERP, that's crazy expensive. So if you have tried to build your own ERP or you want to purchase an ERP, it's crazy expensive. And there are some solutions. You can get the software and install that on your computers or maybe on your own server. Still, it's expensive to purchase the license. It's expensive to maintain it. But now that we have cloud-based solutions, we have cloud-based ERPs, we have cloud-based accounting systems and HR system. So the beauty of this system is, as I said before, the common theme applied everywhere. The entire ERP solution is already there, but you can get the components that you really need now. Later on, when your business is expanding, your requirements are expanding, you can get another component later on. So those options are there in a cloud-based SaaS. We call that software as a service. So if you want to get a sophisticated software, probably the world's best level, top level software, usually accessible by the big corporations, now accessible to all the people, all the business owners, even startups, micro, small and medium scale businesses, and even big corporations, all of those people, it's actually democratizing the access to high-end technologies, high-end software like ERP systems. So your business, if you want to improve the efficiency of your business and you have that kind of requirement, if you feel like, okay, I should get an ERP, rather than try to develop one, rather than try to download one, look for a cloud solution. Maybe look for a local cloud solution, because the beauty of local cloud solution is your data is here in the country and the latency is lower. And most of the time, I'm using local cloud storage systems because most of the time, the data is unmetered too. That's the biggest advantage. And the latency is also lower. And you know, the entire planet, back in the days, like we tried to trade between different countries. US tried to trade with Taiwan and China and Japan. And Europe is trying to do trade with all the European Union neighboring countries and with US and other countries like India, Sri Lanka. But now, lots of countries are actually trying to nationalize their economies. That's apparently is the trend globally. So they are nationalizing their economy. So they are trying to get their data into their country borders. US is trying it, EU is trying it, and there are some advantages. Maybe we also should pay attention to those trends. So yes, data sovereignty is important when you are running your sensitive data. If you are dealing with sensitive data like financial details and personal details, it's better to keep it locally. So that's another thing. Then people, when you are doing this kind of solution, when you're running on cloud, when you have a cloud solution, and just imagine, maybe you already have this kind of stuff. Now that you have cloud storage solution, then you have your cloud hosting solution, then you have your website builder, so you have e-commerce website too, the payment gateways integrated, the business is running. You have to take like lots of decision, data-driven decision, looking at the data. You probably have seen this clothing store called Shein, I don't know, probably you have seen it. Lots of people are buying stuff on Shein. It's a Chinese company. They have their product catalog, they have like 10,000 different designs, maybe more, right? And if you try to buy something today, it's there, and you're thinking that, okay, this is a nice jeans or shoes or something. Then next week you try to buy it, it's not there. Because they're making lots of decisions to come up with trendy designs, trendy products. So they're selling those stuff for much cheaper price, and you can wear that for like next 6 months and throw it away and buy a new one. So very different business model. They are undercutting the market. How they undercut the market? Using data, right? Lots of people are thinking that they're undercutting the market using the economies of scale. It's not the case, by the way. Like when you're producing lots of stuff in large quantities, you can drop the price, but that's not what Shein is doing. They're using AI and data on a cloud, by the way. So maybe you should take notes. You should try to do things that in the similar way. They are not ordering large quantities. They are ordering small quantities from small service providers in China. That's what they're trying to do, using AI and data. And if you go to Shein and you scroll through the website, they're collecting lots of data. You click on this image and you zoom it, then you scroll around. That means you are slightly interested of this product. Maybe we should do something similar. Then you close it and visit it again. They're collecting all of those data, and they're using state-of-the-art artificial intelligence and the data science, the pattern recognition algorithm, and lots of stuff to give a productive input to their product designers. So that's because they have access to data. They're running AI and data science on a very sophisticated cloud infrastructure. Maybe you should think of something like that. And for that, we need cloud infrastructure. And throughout the session, you guys will get to know a lot more things about cloud infrastructure, and the most important thing, the locally available cloud infrastructure, and what are the advantages. As I said before, if things are locally available, lots of things will be easier. Just imagine if you have a Netflix or some kind of like popular services data center here in Sri Lanka, then all the things that we are doing with that server is local bandwidth, low latency. We have lots of advantages. If you are running all of your data locally in a local cloud, there are lots of advantages. The cloud is, the data is here in Sri Lanka. It's protected by Sri Lankan law, and latency is lower. So I think you should take notes. Storage, hosting, website builder, and then we have data-driven decision using AI and different data science tools available on these clouds. So I'm not really sure whether I can pass you the microphone to like ask me questions, but I'll hang around in case you want to ask me any questions about anything I said here. I'm around, just bug me. Just ask me any question, like if I know to answer that question, I'll definitely would do. But if I don't know the answer, I'll point you in the right direction, I promise you. So people, take notes. You have operate your business in very unfavorable conditions. Lots of things happen. Lots of things happen in sequence, by the way, in the last few years. But you push through it, so that means you have that potentiality, you have the capacity to push through your business beyond Sri Lankan boundaries. You should think in the scale of planet Earth. So start thinking in the scale of planet Earth and use the cloud computing infrastructure available to you, and their growth is accelerating really fast. Use cloud storage and use cloud hosting and use cloud-based website builders, software as a service, and you have ERP solutions and lots of services. Use those things to improve the efficiency of your business and accelerate and push it to the next level, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.